Oh my
I think
mercy.
it's connected to this 40.
Is it connected to 40? Okay, let's see. Hold on. I'm not gonna. Oh my mercy. Okay, Hebrews 10:5. I read that already.
Okay, maybe not.
Okay, we're gonna let it go. All right, we're gonna let it go. I'm gonna come back. We're gonna let it go. Okay, it's gonna come back. The Ruach gonna bring it back. Trust me, I guarantee he'll bring it back. But so going back to John, verse 13, which were born not of the blood, nor the will of flesh, nor the will of man, but of Elohim. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld the esteem as of the only begotten of the Father, full of what? Favor and truth. Okay? So the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Okay? So the Word that before it had a body, that's what I was trying to point out. A body in Hebrews 10:5, but there's an equivalent somewhere in Tanakh that I was looking for. Maybe I'm looking for the wrong word. But the body, the Most High did what? The Most High prepared a body for the Amar, which became the Dabar, which dwelt amongst the people. Okay? Kind of ties to when the Most High told Moshe, make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among the people. All right. Now, with that said, when we understand that before we can have wisdom, that's why it's called the word of wisdom. Because before you can have wisdom, you've got to have the word. That's why I don't understand why people go to church and the preachers don't use the Bible. They'll give you 3 verses and then the rest of the time they howling, screaming and grabbing their ear and y'all paying tithes for that and you ain't getting nothing but junk food. And we giving it to you for free. And we appreciate the contributions for those that made this week. I don't want to sing anybody out. We receive your contributions in love and praise the Most High for your love offerings, right? Okay. The Messiah said, do not your arm before men, right? So all these people got these Patreon accounts and YouTube. And while they giving you a word or whatever, you can see on the screen, so-and-so gave this much, so-and-so gave this much, so-and-so gave this much, right? That's out of order. Let the Most High reward you openly, right? I came out of Church of God in Christ, and they said, you want to be seen giving. Where is that at in the book, right? Okay, my brother said Psalms 40:6. That we read?
That's where I told you to go to. That verse is tied into that.
We'll read it. Psalms 46. Then we're gonna go into Psalms 37. So we're gonna go to Psalms 37 after this. So Psalms verse 40. Okay, Psalm 40 and 6. Let's read down. Okay, first 1. To the chief musician, Psalm of David, I waited patiently for Yahweh, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me up also out of the horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon the rock and established my goings. And he put a new song in my mouth, praise, even praise unto our Elohim. Many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in Yah. Blessed is the man that maketh Yah his trust, and respect not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. That's a mouthful right there. Many, O Yah, my Elohim, are thy wonderful works which thou hast done, and thy thoughts which are to usward, they cannot be reckoned up in order unto thee. If I would declare and speak of them, oh, I like that right there. They are more than can be numbered. Sacrifices and offerings thou did not desire. My ears hast thou opened. Burnt offerings and sin offering hast thou not required. Okay. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book is written of me. I delight to do thy will, O Elohim, and yeah, thy law is within my heart. Okay. That is not the one I was looking for. Okay. All right, be that as it may. Let's go to Psalms 37. Okay. We're going to move a little faster now. All right, Psalm 37. So now we're talking about what? The word of wisdom. So we overstand, we laid the foundation. We went through all of that for the past, what? Hour and 20 minutes to lay the foundation that you can't have a word of wisdom without the word. Because the word of wisdom has to come from the word. Once we get the word, now we can do what? We can devar, or we can amar, we can speak what the devar says to see what? The manifestation of what? What the Most High said. So every promise that we're holding on to, or that we plan or desire to see, we've got to do what? You got to find a word for it. Okay? You can't speak a word of wisdom without the word. So what the gift in the church has been, a word of wisdom is what they call, somebody said, oh, you're going to see in 30 days from now, you're going to see this election overturned and Trump's going to be victorious. That's not a word. That's not a word of wisdom. Okay. Now we're going to define it. So let's go in here so we can put this thing to bed. All right. Now, with that said, Psalms. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I'm messing up here. Hold on. Oh my mercy. Psalms. Make this bigger. Psalms 37 and 30. All right. One verse. Verse 30, it says what? The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and the tongue talketh of judgment. Watch this now. The Torah, or the law of his Elohim, is in his heart. None of his steps shall slide. So the mouth of the righteous speaks wisdom, which is what? The law of Yah, which is what? In his heart, or her heart. All right. What did the Most High say to Joshua, Yehoshua, the son of Nun? All right. In verse 1 of Joshua, I'm going to go there. I'm going to open it up for you so you can see it. Right? The Most High said what? This book of Torah, or this Sephra of Torah, shall not depart out of thy mouth. See that? So the word is Torah. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate. We tying this together now. We talked about in the beginning where he said what? In the beginning was the Amar. The Amar became what? A thought that did what? Bring forth manifestation. So that's why the word, the book of the law of Torah shall not depart out of thy mouth. Why? Because we got to teach our flesh to obey the spiritual laws of Yah. Because the Torah is a spiritual law. It's not a carnal law. We heard people say that the law, carnal laws is against us. There's nothing carnal about the law of Yah. Now, the sacrifices, you can argue that point because they're carnal, they're animals. But the laws, instructions of Yah are not carnal. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty. How are they mighty? They're mighty through Yah to the pulling down of strongholds. What's a stronghold? The thought that's in the mind that says we don't have to do what the Most High said do. So the word of wisdom becomes a word of philosophy. Philo, Sophie. All right, now let's get back. So the book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou may observe to do according to all written therein, and thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. So if we want to be successful financially, we got to find out how to do it in the book of the law. Because the Most High don't want us to be poor. We're going to show you that in this lesson. If I can shut my mouth and get to these stories, we're going to show you some stuff. All right. Now, let me try to move on. Okay. Now let's go to Psalms 111, right? Psalms 111. Okay. Psalms 111. We're going to move fast here at this particular part right here. Psalms 111. All right. Psalm 111 and verse 10. All right. Psalm 111 verse 10. The fear. That's one of the seven spirits. The fear of Yah. Right? Yahweh. The fear, the reverence of Yah is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding, a good overstanding have all they that do his commandments, and praise endure forever. Okay, the word for do is asah. His commandments is understood. It's added in there. It's in italicized. But we know what you're doing, right? The fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom and a good overstanding, right? Now the word for overstanding is intelligence. It's the word sakel. Intelligence, it says by implication success. So an intelligent person, when somebody says, we're not under that law, brother, we're still under the New Testament now. An intelligent person says, no, we're not. There are laws as pertaining to success. That's what the word of the Most High is. The laws pertaining to agriculture, the laws pertaining to success. That is what Shlomo, I'm jumping ahead of myself, but that's what he tapped into, and that's why he was the wisest and the wealthiest king in the universe. All right. So the fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom, and a good overstanding have all they that do his praise endure forever. All right. Now, I want to pull out a couple more verses here, and then we're going to show you some examples of people operating in the word of wisdom. All right, now. So let's go to Proverbs 4 and 7. Proverbs 4 and 7. All right, Proverbs 4 and 7, moving right along. 4 and 7. Write these verses down. Wisdom is a principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get binah, or overstanding. Okay? So wisdom is the principal thing, but in all thy getting, get overstanding. Okay? So now, that's why wisdom comes from the word, but now we meditate upon the word day and night so we could clearly discern the intent of the goal of the law. And when we understand the intent of the law, then we therefore can see what? The fullness of prosperity in every aspect of our life. Health, finances, social, emotional. Some people are emotionally poor. Their emotions are out of control. The Most High don't want us to be emotionally unstable. Right? So that's all a part of the prosperity of walking in the law of Yah. When we trust in what Yah says, we don't have fear. We're not operating, right? Do y'all know I haven't been working since March? Woo! But the Most High has provided. How many months is that? 9 months? April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's 9 months. I've been 9 months unemployed. I haven't begged anybody for a dime. I haven't put a gimmick out and open up a Patreon account and all of that. But the Most High, see, when you have patience, when you have belief in the Elohim you serve, you know He will provide. That's why I have no fear. And I'm not underdog. I'm an overdog. How about that? Okay, now, Psalms 4, 7. Okay, now it's Proverbs 8 and 12 now. Proverbs 8 and 12, all right? Proverbs 8 and 12. And I didn't say that to get any sympathy from anybody. So please don't say, oh, he's begging for money. No, I'm not. Most High got this, all right? Okay, now, Proverbs 8 and 8 and 12. Okay? If wisdom, let me back up. Let's read verse 10. Oh my, let's go up here. Receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. What is it? Wisdom is the word kokma, which means what? It's from kakam, which means to be wise. And so where does wisdom come? From Torah. That's why we got to get into it to find out what are some of the laws in Torah that's going to help me to come over the top. Right? The Most High is calling many of us during this pandemic to come away from the jobs. Because it's coming a season of famine, but those that know their Elohim shall do great exploits. While the world's suffering, the Most High is going to allow you to not suffer lack. As a matter of fact, you're going to be in abundance. That's why we got to get in this Torah so we can see how we can walk in that fullness of those promises that the Most High is trying to get us to see. The wisdom, the word of wisdom. All right. Now, Proverbs 9 and 10. All right. 9 and 10. Okay. Proverbs 9. Oh, I didn't finish that, did I? Let me go back. I done got stuck somewhere. What was it? 8 and 12. Where was I?
I think you read.
Did
you read 11?
Okay. 11. Okay. For wisdom is better than rubies. Right, I did read that one, right? Okay, verse 12. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, but find out knowledge of witty inventions. That was the verse I wanted to read. You see that? Huh? Oh, man. During this pandemic, during the time of trouble, the Most High said, what? I, wisdom, dwell with what? What is a prudence, brothers and sisters? The prudence is the word orma. It says, a feminine of 6113, a stratagem, okay, or trickery, okay, in a good sense, discretion. So, in other words, while the world is spin, hear it now, Israel is storing. So if the famine is coming, brothers and sisters, and you got a storehouse, fill up your storehouse, because when people need something, they're going to come to the storehouse. When the famine is here. All right. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty invention. So wisdom is finding out what? The da'at, or the knowledge, which is yada, to see. Yada means to see. Okay. So the wisdom, the word of Yah, dwells with prudence, dwells with a strategy, right? To find out the knowledge of what's needful of what? The witty invention, which is what? Mizima, a plan. Okay? So the Most High is speaking to our minds to devise a plan. Those of y'all that live in the South where you got vegetation land where you can plant some vegetation, this is your time to get them seed in the ground. Right? Because it's coming. The famine is coming. The famine is coming. But guess what? They who know their Elohim shall do great exploits. All right. Man, this is good stuff right here. All right, now let's go to not finish. Let me continue, because I'm not done yet. The fear of Yah is to hate evil, pride, arrogancy, evil way of a forward mouth. Do I hate? Verse 14. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am overstanding. I have strength. Sound wisdom. See that? That's what he said. To overstand, get overstanding, get wisdom, but get overstanding, because when you get the word of Yah and when you overstand the principle and the purpose of the law, then you can do what? Great exploits. I'm staring you up. Some of y'all are going to have more than you ever had. Why? Because you're going to apply the wisdom of Yah in this hour. The Most High said in the mouth of the prophet, he said that he would cause them to have a paradise in the wilderness. And I'm kind of adding another word there, but was it Yechezkel where he talked about in the wilderness that they would be like it'd be like a oasis.
Spring.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we in the wilderness while the world is going to be struggling and suffering, and the famine is coming, and the civil unrest is coming on the way. But the Most High is giving us witty inventions. Right? There's a song I grew up on. He's preparing me with something that I can't handle right now. He's preparing us, right? See that? So take whatever it is that you're confronted with now. Know that the word of wisdom is being implanted in you today to get ready for what's coming. Whew, man. Oh, my mercy. All right, let's get back. So The fear of verse 13, the fear of Yah is to hate evil, pride, arrogancy, and the evil way, and the forward mouth do I hate. See that? So that's how we get wisdom. We get wisdom by hating evil, by hating pride. Now, you endorsing a person that's full of pride, how does that go with this verse here? Braggadocious spirit. You embracing saying, the Christian church is amazing to me how, I'm going to stay on this Trump thing, how Trump is the man of God. He's full of pride. He's not Cyrus. He's Nebuchadnezzar. It's just Babylon that I've built. He's done nothing but brag and talked about how the reason why he's so shaken is because he's so degraded Joe Biden. Oh, he's the worst candidate. He can't believe that he lost to the worst candidate. That's pride. But the Most High said, I hate evil. The fear of Yah is to hate evil and to hate pride and to hate arrogancy and the evil way and the forward mouth. My goodness, brothers, you can't get no deeper than that with that candidate. China virus. Sister said, why are you calling it China virus? Because it's from China. You can't get no more prideful than that. I mean, sure enough, Biden has his issues, but pride ain't one of them for sure. Okay. Humble yourself. All right, now let's get back. And I went to meddling. So he said, hate, pride, arrogancy, and the evil way, and the forward mouth do I hate. So the fear of Yah is to hate evil, to hate pride, hate arrogancy. What's the word for arrogancy? All right, let's look at it right quick. Arrogancy is the word gaon. It's arrogancy from the word mount up, ga'a to mount up, and from gava to arrogance or majesty by implication and ornament. Okay. See, a prideful person, when they prophesy something and it don't come to pass, they're going to try to manipulate the whole thing. They're going to try to word their words and say, well, I didn't say that. I said, no, just admit that you were wrong. We can't stone you because we're not operating the government. So you're under favor right now. You're under grace, right? Israel can't take you out back and stone you because we're not the government. All right. So you're safe. Just acknowledge that you prophet lied and life goes on. Now people gonna ask you for a refund now. They want their money back because you the prophet lied. It didn't come to pass. Like, man, I've been giving money to this ministry all these years. How many other prophecies wasn't right? My issue to tell you how many times you heard people say, you know, go to your mailbox. It's gonna be some checks gonna be in that mailbox. It's some check that you didn't expect. I mean, many years, brothers and sisters, I was in the Word of Faith movement. I mean, I was sowing seed, writing on the back of the check, this is not my seed. This seed is for my harvest. All kinds of stuff I would write on the back. What they tell you to write. Write this on the check. Write this on the check. Right? I done did it all, brothers. Sisters, been there, done that. Moved on. Got a T-shirt. Got a pen. Got a cap. Got a button, and a bumper sticker. Right? All above. Right? Now let's get back. Verse 14, counsel is mine and wisdom I am overstanding. I have strength. So with the word of wisdom comes all these spiritual gifts. Counsel. We read Isaiah Yoshiyahu chapter 11 last week about the 7 spirits. Counsel, might, all of that. These all are from the same spirit. So one attribute from one of the 7 spirits is given to us as we do what? As we have the first one, which is what? The fear of Yah. After the fear of Yah comes all the other things. Right? Now, counsel is mine and sound wisdom. What's that word for sound wisdom? Okay, the word is Tashia. Tashia is defined as to substantiate, support, ability that is help and overtaking, intellectual overstanding. All right. So that's it right there. So that's the sound wisdom. Sound wisdom, and I am overstanding. I have strength. Okay. So the spirit of Yah, which is the word of Yah, is the wisdom of Yah, which is the word of Yah, and it has what? There's counsel in the word, and there's sound wisdom in the word, and in continual study of the word brings what? Overstanding, which gives you what? Strength. All right. I think it was Shaul said something about after you suffered a while, right? The Most High will perfect you. What is it? Perfect you?
Strengthen and settle you.
Yeah. Perfect you, establish, strengthen, and settle you. Suffering from what? Disobedience unto what? Bringing my body under subjection to do what? To obey what? The word of Yah, which is what? His wisdom, which does what? Gives us the expected end. My goodness. We tie it all together then. Oh, that's why we have to obey the law. Yes. Because you want prosperity. You want life. The Messiah said what? I am come. What? The word came, the wisdom came. I am come that you might have what? Life, and have it what? More abundantly, right? Now unto him that's able to do exceeding abundantly above all you can ask or think, according to the power that does what? Works in you. What is the power that's working in you? The word of Yah. And the instructions of Yah, the word of Yah, that enables you to see clearly, because that's what the word of wisdom does. It enables you to see where you're headed. All right. Now, I didn't finish this out yet. Proverbs 8:15. That's good. Okay, now I done said all that to say this. Let's go to chapter 9 now. Proverbs 9. We getting the wisdom. Proverbs 9. I might have to edit it up right here. I'm telling you, I'm running out of time. What time is it? Okay, I got a little time. All right. We cut the praise and worship out. That kind of gave us about 40 minutes right there of additional time. Okay. Proverbs 9. Okay, Proverbs 9. Let's start at verse 1. Read it down. Proverbs 9:1. Wisdom. Now we know what wisdom is. Fear of Yah. Fear of Yah is what? Obeying Yah, all that he said, and hating the things that Yah said for us to hate. So wisdom have built her house. She have hewn out her 7 pillars. She have killed her beast. She have mingled her wine. She have also furnished her table. So with wisdom, you can do a word of wisdom. You can kill the beast that's coming after you. It says she killed her beast. Wisdom have mingled her wine. So, you know, what does Shaul say? I'm not Shaul. Dawid said, thou prepare us a table for me in the presence of my enemies. That's what he's talking about. When wisdom, the word of Yah, is embraced, not rejected, it calls you to not have fear. But you can have a party while everybody else is in fear. Isn't that wonderful? Can you imagine us having a party while the world is having fear? You sitting in there, you singing and whatnot, enjoy yourself, having a good old time, go into your man cave, shoot some pool, bring out your barbecue grill, cook you some vegan food on the grill if you're vegan, get you some curried lamb if you like lamb and goat oxtails, and put it on the grill, and smothered in the gravy. Oh my, I make myself, let me stop. But that's what wisdom will enable us to have a party. Watch what it says here. So he said, she hath mingled her wine, she hath also furnished her table. So that's saying, you got a table full of food. Everybody's looking for food. They don't have a job, they don't have no money coming in, but you got a table full of food. You're satisfied. Because wisdom has done what? Wisdom has given you the knowledge and the understanding to get the things that pertain to life. That's what Shaul said in one of the other verses. He said that things that pertain to life and Elohimliness or righteousness has given us all things, right? All right, now, verse 3. She had sent forth her maidens, she cried upon the highest places of the city. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. So if you're simple, he said, turn into wisdom. Turn into the wisdom of the word of Yah. If you're simple, turn in hither. As for him that wanteth overstanding, she says to him, come eat of my bread and drink of my wine, which I have mingled. Forsake, she says, the foolish, and live, and go in the way of overstanding. He reproveth the scorner, getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. And what is that saying? Getteth himself what? A stain, a blemish. Okay? Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. See that? So that's what Yeshua said. Don't cast your pearl before the swine. Some of us, we pushing truth at a person that don't want it. Save your energy. Save that wisdom, those pearls, for that man who it says here. Look what he says. The wise, or the wise man, or kakam, a man who is intelligent, a man who, or woman who is intelligent, a person who is seeking for truth, right? And he will love thee. Okay, verse 9. Give instructions to a wise man, and he will yet whisper. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. The fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge, we got it again, of the Kodesh is overstanding. For by me thy days shall be multiplied, and the years of thy life shall be increased. If thou be wise, thou shalt be wiser for thyself, but if thou scornest, thou alone shalt bear it. See that? So, what is wisdom? Following the laws of Yah. And the laws of Yah is not just talking about don't eat pork, don't eat shrimp, don't eat scavengers. Yeah, that's a law that will help you to physically live, yeah. But there are other laws in there that we're not dealing with that tells us how. Okay? One of the Proverbs says what? The lender or the borrower is a servant to the lender. All right, let's look at that right quick. All right. It says, train up a child. It's Proverbs 22. All right, Proverbs 22. It says, train up a child. How many of us have heard this? But we never really made the application. All right. So he says, train up a child in the way he should go, And when he is old, he will not depart from it. Okay? What is that way we are training a child up in? What is that way? It says, verse 7, the rich rules over the poor. See that? So, in other words, what he's saying, don't spend everything you got. Don't live above your means because you want to live like them. And so you working 9 to 5. And so when the time comes, when the economy is down, you in trouble. So the rich rule over the poor. So if you are a good steward, a word of wisdom tells you what? Don't max out your income. Even the credit people are trying to tell us, when you go to apply for a loan, they say, well, your debt to income ratio is too high. Where do they get that from? Right here. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is a servant. What's the word for servant? Abed. Okay? And abed means to work. It's kind of like the saying that says, I owe, so all the work I go. That's what he's saying. The borrower is a servant to the lender. He that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity, and the rod of his anger shall fail. So why does he equate being a servant to the borrower as iniquity? Because iniquity is to go against the word of Yah, which tells you not to be a servant to a lender. Okay? Somebody needs to file for bankruptcy during this time and don't go back into debt. All right, now. Oh, my mercy. So having said that, I'm going to share a couple examples here of people that operated in the word of wisdom. So let's do this here. We've already covered that the word of wisdom is the word, originally was the word Amar, which comes from the Hebrew word dabar, which means a word, a matter, a spoken thing. Okay. And the dabar became manifested in the physical form, right? Now, let's go to Exodus 28. I want to show you that because we learned in Christendom that, you know, the Holy Ghost hadn't been given in the Old Testament. How many of y'all have heard that, was taught that? So when you are under the impression that that's true, then you don't know how to properly explain verses we're going to show you here in this lesson. All right. So let's go to Exodus chapter 28. 28. And let's see. We're going to read verse 1 through 3, all right? Exodus 28, verses 1 through 3, all right? Uh-oh. Hold on one second. And take thou unto thee Aharon thy brothers, and his sons with him, from among the children of Yasharal, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. Now notice this was after Israel rejected the priesthood as a nation and said, you speak to Moshe and we'll hear him. And now Moshe had too much on his plate. So Moshe went to the Most High and said, okay, what do I need to do? And the Most High said, appoint 70 men, etc., etc., etc. Right? Now, here, the priests of the sons of Aaron, the Most High had told Moshe, this is what you do now. All right. Now, having said that, so it says, read it again, verse 1. Take thou unto thee Aharon, thy brother, and his sons with him from among the children of Yasharov, that he may minister unto me the priest office, even Aharon, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aharon's sons. So the sons of Aharon are the priests. So if you ever hear Israelites say the Levites are the priests, tell them no. Wrong. All Levites were not priests. The priests were Levites, but specifically the priests in this particular case were only the sons of Aharon. And in this verse we see it was Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. So it's four. The four sons of Aharon. Now watch what he says here. And thou shalt make thy Kodesh garments for Aharon thy brother, for the kabod, and for beauty. Okay. And thou shalt speak unto all that are wise. Look at that. Speak unto all that are wise. The word for wise is chacham, which means to be wise. That is intelligent, skillful, or artful. All that are, he says, all that are wise-hearted, whom I have did what? Filled with the spirit of wisdom. Ah, look at that. See, the Most High said, I have filled them with the spirit of wisdom. If you don't know that the spirit of wisdom is one of the seven spirits of Yah, then you would say nobody had the Holy Ghost or had the Holy Spirit in the Old Testament. But when you go back to Isaiah Yoshiyahu 11, let's do that right quick. Go back to Yoshiyahu 11, just to be clear. All right. Verse 2. It says, verse 1, there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Yeshai, and the branch shall grow out of his roots. The spirit of Yah shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of might, the spirit of knowledge, and the spirit and the fear of Yah. So what we see here, the spirit of wisdom. See that? So the spirit of wisdom is the spirit. And in this particular place in Exodus 28, it said that they were filled with the spirit of wisdom. See that? So the wisdom of Yah, I'm giving somebody a little push during this COVID-19. The wisdom of Yah might be instructing you to do what? What do these guys do? To make garments, right? What do they do? Let me just continue to read, okay? They have been filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aharon's garments to consecrate him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. So who made his garments? Who made Aharon's garments? His sons. They was filled with the spirit of wisdom to make their daddy's clothes. How about that? All right, continue. And these are the garments which they shall make. A breastplate. Now, that, brothers and sisters, sounds so simple, right? A breastplate? Okay, what is a breastplate? I'm glad you asked the question. The breastplate is koshin, from unused root to contain or sparkle, perhaps a pocket as holding the Urim and the Thummim, or rich as containing gems, used only for the gorget of the high priest. So that item there was very expensive. It wasn't cheap. So the Most High gave them the ability to design a breastplate like none other. So the breastplate, and then it says what? And an ephod, right? And a robe, and a broidered coat. Okay, so the coat, you know how we go to the embroidering shop and we make shirts like these? The whole coat was rich. But the wisdom of Yah gave them the ability to make garments that, for the high priest, that were expensive. All right, that's wisdom now. All right, let's continue. And it says a mitre, or the mitre, which is the mishnafeth, which is it says original, the turban of a high priest or king. Okay, and a girdle, and they shall make Kodesh garments for Aharon thy brother and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. So the wisdom, that spirit of wisdom that was filled in them, Most High, look, I ain't cheap. I don't want my priests looking cheap, right? I don't want them having a cheap mentality. So I want these brothers to be anointed with the spirit of wisdom to make these garbs. So that spirit of wisdom is a spirit that empowers you, right, to exemplify the splendor and the weight and the kabod of the Most High. When people look at you, they say, oh, that's a representative of Yah. All right. Now, let's go to Psalms 35 and 30. How much time I got? Let's see. What time is it? 2:08. Okay. Psalms 35. I'm sorry, not Psalms. Exodus 35. And let's look at verse 30. Shemot, or Exodus, chapter 30. Chapter 35 and verse 30. Okay. And Moshe said unto the children of Yasharal, see, Yahweh have called by name Bezaleel, the son of Uri, the son of of the tribe of Yehuda. So now we got a man from Yehuda. Watch this now. And he hath filled him with the spirit of Elohim in wisdom, in understanding, and in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship. See that? So he's filled with what? He's filled with the spirit of wisdom and understanding and knowledge. So now we crossing over. We got the word of wisdom and you got the word of knowledge. We're going to deal with that, I think, word of knowledge, I think, next week. Y'all permits? Yeah, next week, word of knowledge, okay? So we see the crossing over here. We see that this man was filled with the word of wisdom and understanding that goes along with that, right? And knowledge. Because he said, with all you're getting, get wisdom, but with wisdom, get understanding. So that's what we get. We go into the book to get the wisdom and to study the word so we can get the understanding, so we can know how to make the proper application, so we can see the results in our personal life. That's what it's about. It ain't about religion. Hey. We've been tricked, brothers and sisters. This is about life. This is not about feeling good, getting a goosebump down your spine. And you go home and you don't have no food to eat, a place to live. You're sleeping in your car. I got the joy of the Lord. We've been lied to. Okay? All right, now, so he was filled with the spirit of Elohim in wisdom, kokma, and in understanding, tabuna. Tabuna is what? Intelligence. See? And in knowledge, which is what? Da'at. To know. To see. So when we see, how do we see? We don't see with these, because these create a thought that goes against what we see in the word of Yah. So we go to the word of Yah so we can see. We don't go to the world and look at what we physically see out of our eyes, but we go to the word of Yah. Yah spoke the end, and guess what, brothers and sisters? We win. That's why we don't operate in fear, because we know the end. You might take me out physically now, but I'll be back. You got to have that spirit, like, what's his name? Who was that? Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. The Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. You got to have that spirit. You can hurt my body, but guess what? I'm coming back new and improved for 1,000 years. You got to look at me. And you're going to serve. All right? You're going to serve me. Okay? Now, tell the devil, put that in his pipe and smoke it. Right? All right. Now, where was I at? So filled with the spirit and wisdom and understanding. Right? In the knowledge and in all manner of workmanship. So, understanding and knowledge and in all manner of workmanship. So let's look at this right here. What's workmanship? Okay. The word malacha, which means a deputyship, that is a ministry, generally employment. It says never servile. Oh my mercy. Huh? See, the Most High don't want us to be in the servitude. Serve Him. Right? See that? The workmanship is the word. It says employment, but never in servile or work abstractly or concretely. Also property as a result of labor. So what was I saying? The spirit of wisdom will give you ownership. You won't be a borrower. You'll be a lender. Okay? That's why religion don't want us to get into this, because they want to keep you broke. You know, we depended on the Democrats and the Republicans and everybody in between, instead of depending on the word of Yah that tells us how to be successful. I wish I knew this 30 years ago. Boy, I'm telling you, I've been sitting on the top of the hill by right now. Oh, my mercy. And be some of y'all with me. We have our community. Okay? Sitting up on the mountaintop. Eating the fatted calf, as they say. Put on the robe. Was that the prodigal son, the fatted calf, and the robe? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, let me get back. Okay, so And he says, and devise curious works to work in what? Gold. Oh my mercy. Look at that. A coat Sandra like that. Work in gold. Devise curious works to work in gold and in silver and in brass. So what is he saying? We looking for U.S. currency when the Most High wants us to look to the natural resources, which is what? Gold, silver, and brass. Hear that? Some of y'all on the right path during this pandemic. All right, now we going up in these lands of captivity during this time of oppression. The Most High is speaking to some of y'all right here. Word of wisdom. Curious works in gold, silver, and brass. And watch this now. Verse 33. And in cutting of stones, to set them in carving of wood, to make any manner of cunning work. And he hath put in his heart that he may teach both he and Aholabah, the son of Ahishama, of the tribe of Dan. So the Most High anointed Yehuda to teach the sons of the other tribe, Dan. That's what we got. We got to grab hold of the other tribes and say, look, y'all going the wrong direction, brother. Come on over here. Let's have a seminar, webinar. That's Sister Sandra's. That's her territory. Let's have a webinar, right? Her and Brother Irvin. That's their territory. Webinar. Let's have it. Come on. Y'all come on. Let us talk to you. Oh, my mercy. I'm campaigning for y'all now. Okay. Now, verse 35. It says, them have he filled with wisdom of heart to work all manner of work of the engraver and the cunning workman and the embroider in blue and in purple and scarlet and fine linen, and the weaver even of them that do any work of these that devise cunning work. So the spirit of wisdom can come upon you to anoint you with the work of hands. All right. So maybe some of y'all need to get a sewing machine and start learning. You know, you never know the ability that you have until you exercise that talent. Most High might be speaking to you. Get that clothes business up and running. You know, make you some bed sheets and bed pillows and start off small and graduate. Build your website, you know. And you can sell right now. I'm telling you, the wisdom of Yah is speaking, brothers and sisters, right now. Build your website and develop your business right now while it's opportune time. You're working from home or not working at all. Build the website, right? I'm working on a multiplicity of things right now. I work 9 to 5 for the Most High right now. I'm working on books. I'm working on documentaries. You know, I'm writing. So I'm giving the nuggets for free because this is not about making money. To give you this knowledge and wisdom that the Most High is sending to you via the Ruach. It's all for Israel because I love y'all, and the Most High wants us to excel in life, right? Even during this pandemic. Okay. Now let me get back I got some more good stuff, and then we got to close it up. So that's Exodus 35. All right, we're going to revert real quick here. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy 4 and 5 and 6. And it reads on this wise. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5 and 6. Behold, he says, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yah, my Elohim, commanded me that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your overstanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is wise and overstanding people. Look at that. See that? So the Most High, through his wisdom, he says for us to keep. He said, this is our wisdom. This is your wisdom and your overstanding in the sight of the nations. Right? See that? This is your wisdom and your overstanding
on the web.
in the as my phone Google started doing a search. I guess I must have said a trigger word or something. Okay, anyway. So here's what we do. So we said, oh my mercy, man, I lost my place here. Okay. So the wisdom and overstanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is wise and an overstanding people. So when we operating in the wisdom of Yah, and the Most High gives us a word of wisdom in his Torah, and the nations will see us and they will say, man, those are some wise people, right? Your name is going to go down in history when you stand in the word of Yah and you become what? A beacon. A beacon. Not a bacon. A beacon. Okay? A sign or a signal, a signet in before the nations. Right? All right. Let me continue. So that's let's go to Deuteronomy 34. Move on. Okay. Deuteronomy 34. All right. Devarim. Deuteronomy 34. And let's see. Verse 9. All right. Deuteronomy 34, verse 9. All right. Let's go up a little bit. Let's see. Let's go up to verse 1. All right, verse 1. Deuteronomy 34, verse 1. Okay. And Moshe went up from the plains of Moab unto the mount of Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho, and Yahweh showed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan, and all Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the land of Yehudah, and the utmost sea, and the south, and the plain, and the valley, and Jericho, and the city of the palm trees unto Zor. 4. And Yah said unto them, this is the land which I have sworn to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, I will give it to your seed. I have caused thee to see it with thine eyes, but thou shalt not go over there. So Moshe, thy servant of Yah, died. See, we was taught Moshe didn't die, his body was never found. Right? But the book say Moshe, the servant of Yah, died there in the land of Moab. So where is his body? In the land of Moab. According to the word of Yah. Verse 6. And he buried him in the valley in the land of Moab over against Beth Peor, but no man knoweth of his sepulchre until this day. Okay? So why don't they know where his sepulchre is? Because he probably was just buried in the ground. It's a whole lot of people that was buried in the ground and their remains turned to ashes. Okay? Which is a foolish argument with the Egyptologists to say, if Israel was a true story, how come we can't find no remains? Because the ashes and dust to dust, brothers and sisters, period. of all thousands of years. You ain't gonna find it. Okay, let's continue. Moshe was 120 years old when he died. His eyes was not dim, nor his natural face abated. The children of Israel wept for Moshe in the plains of Moab 30 days, so the days of weeping and mourning for Moshe was ended. Now, here's the kicker. All right. And Yehoshua, or Yahshua, if you like, the son of Nun, was what? Full. He was full of spirit of wisdom. Wait a minute. Wait till you see what being full of the spirit of wisdom is, right? He was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moshe had laid his hands upon him, and the children of Israel hearkened unto him and did as Yah commanded Moshe. So the spirit of wisdom that came upon him was laid on him to do what? Confirm the word that the Most High gave through the mouth of the prophet Moshe. That's the word of wisdom. Anything else is false. So when you say the Most High gave me a word of wisdom, the word of wisdom is always going to go back to the word. All right. So he was full of the Spirit. You could say he was full, as a Christian could say. You could say Joshua, Yehoshua, the son of Nun, was full of the Holy Ghost. Since you like that, we don't use the Holy Ghost here, but I'm just putting it in your language so you can understand what we're saying. He was full of the spirit of wisdom. Okay? Now, oh my mercy, man, this is good stuff here. Verse 10, and there arose not a prophet since Israel like unto Moshe, whom Yah knew face to face. And all the signs and wonders which Yah sent to him in the land of Mizraim to Pharaoh and all the servants and all this land, and all the mighty hand, and all the great terror which Moshe showed in the sight of all Yasharal. So Yehoshua, Yahshua, the son of Nun, was full of the spirit of wisdom. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being full of the wisdom where it produces no lack? Oh my mercy, it's giving me chill spines up my chill. Woo! That's what we want, right? We don't want no lack. We want nice houses, right? As they say, goodly houses. We want nice cars, nice clothes, right? Good food, right? Most High wants us to have all of that, right? All right, now let's go over to 2 Samuel chapter 4. We're going to read a few more places here, and then we're going to have to close it down. So 2 Samuel chapter 14, 2 Shemuel. All right. Chapter 14. Let's see. I got a lot of verses here. Let's see if I can reduce a little bit of this reading. It's a good story here. Let's see. Okay. 1 Shemuel chapter 14. And what I say? Second. I'm sorry. Slika. 2 Shemuel chapter 14 verse 1. All right. It said, now Joab, the son of Zeruiah, perceived that the king's heart was towards Absalom. So who was Joab? He was the son of Zeruiah. That was his mother. She was, her name means to be wounded of Yah. Go figure that one, right? Perceived that the king's heart was towards Absalom. Okay, so Joab sent to Tekoa and fetched thence a wise woman. See, women women that was wise, that was filled with the Spirit. We're going to show you that. A wise woman, whether she was an Israelite or not, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think she was, what was she, from Tekoa? Tekoa she could have been a Canaanite. Okay, but anyway, if y'all know different, please, comment. But I think she was from Tekoa. I think she was a Palestinian, I know for sure. She could have been a Philistine or Canaanite, one of the two. So, okay, anyway, he said he fetched a wise woman. So, in other words, she was a Torah obedient woman. See, there was some heathens in the land that embraced the covenant of Israel. They got up on even and found out that, oh man, it's some promises in that thing if I do that thing right. So he said, Joab sent to Tekoa and fetched thence a wise woman, right? The word for wise, once again, is chamka, which means the same word which is used for wisdom, okay? Wise woman, and said unto her, I pray thee, feign thyself to be a mourner. In other words, dress yourself up as a mourner, and put on now mourning apparel, and anoint not thyself with oil, but be as a woman that had a long time mourned for the dead. Now, verse 3. And come to the king and speak on this matter. So this Joab, who was a prophet, spoke to this woman of wisdom to go to the king. Watch this now. And when the woman of Tekoa spoke to the king, she fell on her face to the ground and did obeisance and said, help, O king. Verse 5, and the king said unto her, what aileth thee? And she answered, am I indeed a widow woman, and my husband is dead? All right. And thy handmaid had 2 sons, and 2 strove together in the field, and there was one to part them, but the one smote the other and slew him. Behold, the whole family is risen against thine handmaid, and they said, deliver him that smote his brother, that we may kill him for the life of his brother whom he slew, and he will destroy the heir also, and they shall quench my coal, which is left, and shall not leave to my husband neither name nor remainder upon the earth. Verse 8. And the king said unto the woman, go to thine house, and I will give charge concerning thee. And the woman of Tekoa said unto the king, my master, O king, the iniquity be on me and on my father's house, and the king and his throne be guiltless. 10. And the king said, whosoever saith aught unto thee, bring him to me, and he shall not torch thee any more. Okay. Then says she, I pray thee, let the king remember Yah thy Elohim, that thou wilt not suffer revengers of blood to destroy any more, lest they destroy my son. And he said, as Yah liveth, there shall not one hair of thy son fall to the earth. And then the woman said, let thy handmaid, I pray thee, speak one word unto my master the king. And he said, say on. Okay, now she gonna speak to the king here. Watch this now. And the woman said, wherefore then hast thou thought such a thing against the people of Elohim? For the king doth speak this thing as one which is faulty, in that the king does not fetch home again his banished. Verse 14, for we must needs die, and are as water split on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. Neither does Elohim respect any person. She getting real deep with him now. Yet doth he devise means that his banners be not expelled from him. Verse 15. Now therefore that I come to speak of this thing unto my master the king, it is because the people have made me afraid. And thy handmaid said, I will now speak unto the king. It may be that the king will perform the request of his handmaid. Okay, now verse 16. Now where am I going? Okay, I want to go down to, what verse am I going to? Verse 22. Okay, so I'm reading the story to get to the point. Okay, for the king will hear to deliver his handmaid out of the hand of the man that would destroy me and the son together out of the inheritance of Elohim. Then thine handmaid said, the word of my master the king shall now be comfortable, for an angel of Yah so is my master the king to discern good and bad. Therefore Yah thy Elohim will be with thee. And the king answered and said unto the woman, hide not from me, I pray thee, the thing that I shall ask thee. And the woman said, let my master the king now speak. 19. The king said, is not the hand of Joab with thee in all this? And the woman answered and said, as thy soul liveth, my master the king, none can turn to the right hand or left from aught that my master the king have spoken. For the servant of Joab bade me, and he put all these words in the mouth of thy handmaid. To fetch about this form of speech have my servant Joab done this thing, and my master in wise according to wisdom of the angel of Yah to know all things that are in the earth. And the king said to Joab, behold, now I have done this thing. Go therefore bring the young man Absalom. And Joab fell to the ground on his face and bowed himself and thankful the king. And Joab said, today thy servant knoweth that I have found favor in thy sight, my master, O king, in that the king hath fulfilled the request of this servant. Now, I missed the verse. Let's see, was it was it verse 20, was it? Oh my mercy. Lost my place. Hold on. Verse 20 where, okay, what's my point I'm trying to point out here was the angel, okay, right here it says, to fetch out this form of speech have the servant Joab done this thing, and my master is wise according to the wisdom of the angel of Elohim to know all things that are in the earth. So she was the carrier of the word of the Most High through the prophet Joab, who she says had the wisdom of the angel of Yah. So the wisdom of the angel of Yah, if you notice what he did, he told her to appear before the king like she was in distress. So he used the wisdom of Yah to strategize, right? Because the wisdom of Yah comes upon us for us to strategize in situations for the betterment of our life. Okay, and that's what I wanted to bring out of that one, but that wasn't the one I wanted. But let's see. The wisdom of Yah, I'm going to kind of reduce a little bit of the reading. The wisdom of Yah also, the word of wisdom will enable you to be able to judge. Let's go to 1 Kings. This is another story. I'm not going to read the whole story. 1 Kings chapter 3. And let's go down to verse 28. And you can read the story in your own time just to kind of conserve the time. Okay. 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 28. Let's give you a synopsis. There was a story where the woman, I think it was a woman, went to sleep and she fell over on her baby and the baby died. And so she tried to switch up the baby and took the other sister's baby and gave her the dead baby and said it was her baby. So Shlomo went in council. Watch what he did here. So let's see. Let's get down to verse 28. Let's see. Let me go up a little bit. Let's see. Let's go up to verse. Let's see. I don't want to read the whole story. Okay, let's start right at verse 18. First Kings chapter 3, verse 18. It came to pass the third day after that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also, and we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we two in the house. And this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it. So what she's saying, the child died in the house because the woman, she rolled over on the child while the child was sleeping. The child died. This is what she's saying, right? And she rose midnight and took my son from beside me while thine handmaid slept, and laid in her bosom, and laid her dead child upon my bosom. 21. When I rose up in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I considered in the morning, behold, it was not my son which I did bear. So, in other words, the woman tricked her. She gave her son and told her that her son died. But the woman y'all women know what y'all children look like. You know somebody done swapped your baby, right? She swapped the baby and tried to say her son died, and she killed her son. Okay, now watch this now. Another woman said, nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, no, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spoke before the king. Now watch what King Shlomo does, right? Then said King, the one says, this is my son that liveth, and thy son is dead. The other says, no, but thy son is dead, and my son is living. And the king said, bring me a sword. This is funny. He said, bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And King Dawid said, divide the child in two, and give half to one and half to the other. He was playing her, right? He wasn't going to do that. He was playing. Watch this now. And then spoke the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, oh, my master, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it. Verse 27, the king answered and said, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. See that? So the wisdom of the Most High was upon him to make a decision. Now, some would say that was crafty, okay? But he made a decision for the intent of finding out the truth, and he used that was considered the spirit of wisdom to call her bluff, right? And it's kind of like, sort of like what the Most High did with Abraham. He wasn't going to kill Isaac, right? Told him, bring your own son, right? Lay him on the altar, right? He wanted to see where his heart was, right? So this is what King Shlomo, he wasn't going to slice that child in half, but he wanted to see if this woman that was lying was going to come forward. And since he did that, he operated in the word of wisdom and said that to her. And after saying that, then he acknowledged that she was the mother. And verse 28 says, all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that what? the wisdom of Elohim was in him to do judgment. See? So the spirit of wisdom, the word of wisdom, is the spirit of one of the seven spirits of Yah that will enable you to judge. Okay? Now, we're seeing it from a judgment perspective, but judging is not just limited to situations like that, but judging is also an ability for us to be able to see things and to know, okay, this is not a good decision. And don't make that decision, because the word of wisdom or the spirit of wisdom will empower us through diligence, through knowledge and understanding to make the right proper decision, right? All right, let's see how much time I got left. I got 15 minutes before 3 o'clock. So let's see, let's do one more. I have a lot more stuff here, but let me see if I can get something real good. Okay, let's see. Let's do, I think I can get through this here. Okay, I just have a few more left. Let's see. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 4. Dealing with Shlomo some more with Shlomo. 1 Kings chapter 4. Okay, I'm gonna piece read a little bit here, so we won't so I can get through with the verses I have left. Okay, 1 Kings chapter 4, verse. Let's see. I want to start at verse. This is showing you that the wisdom that Shlomo had, the spirit of wisdom that was upon him, enabled him to operate in wealth and prosperity. Okay, now 1 Kings chapter 4 verse 20. Let's read that as a starter. Yehuda any as the sand which is by the sea in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry. So all that happened under King Shlomo, right? Now, what I want to do, let's look at verse 21. Shlomo reigned over all the kings from the river unto the land of Philistines, and into the borders of Mizraim. They brought presents and served Shlomo all the days of his life. So this man, when you operate in the spirit of wisdom, people will bring gifts to you, the nations. There's coming a rain. See, the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just, and the just, the wicked is waiting for that channel to pour it through. All right. Now, a little more about Shlomo. Let's go down to verse 27. Let's go up a little bit. Let's see. Verse 25 says, Yehuda and Israel dwelt safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and Dan even to Beersheba all the days of Shlomo. And Shlomo had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariots, and 12,000 horsemen. And those officers provided victuals for King Shlomo and for all that came unto King Shlomo's table, every man in his month. They lacked nothing. See that? So under King Shlomo, the spirit of wisdom gave him the abundance. All right. Now, let's see. Let's go down to verse 28. Barley also, straw for horses, dromedaries brought they unto the place where the officers were, every man according to his charge. 29. And Elohim gave Shlomo wisdom and overstanding, exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the sea shore. 30. Shlomo's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the East country, and all the wisdom of Egypt. Right? For he was wiser than all the men of Ethan, of Ezrahite, of Haman, of Kalkol, of Darda, and the sons of Mahol. And his fame was in all nations round about. And he spake 3,000 proverbs. His songs were 1,005. He spake of trees, from cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto hyssop that springeth out the wall. He spoke also of beasts, and of the fowl, and of creeping things, and of fishes. And there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Shlomo from all kings of the earth, which had heard of his wisdom. So, man, can you imagine? That is the spirit of Yah. See, Yah is looking for us to seek to be filled with the Spirit, to have answers for the world. The earnest expectation of the creature is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of Yah to produce and not be consumers. This is where we're going. This is what the Most High is trying to get us to operate in and through. All right, I got a few more places here. Let's look real quick. This is a quick one here. Hiram was the son. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 7. Okay, chapter 7, verse 13 and 14, 2 verses here. Okay. And King Shlomo sent and fetched Hiram out of Tyre. He was a widow's son of the tribe of Naphtali, and his father was a man of Tyre, right? A worker in brass. It says, and he was filled with wisdom and overstanding and a cunning to work all the works in brass. He came to King Shlomo and wrought all his work. So here his father was a man of Tyre. He wasn't an Israelite. So when these brothers say, well, you are what your father are, so you're a heathen, your father was not an Israelite. This man's father wasn't an Israelite. He was a man of Tyre. Right? But his mother was an Israelite. So much for you are what your father is, right? He was filled with the spirit of wisdom and overstanding and in cunning work. Gifts and calls of Yah come without repentance, right? All right, now. I have some few more verses left here, but I think I'm gonna leave that for next week because they kind of tie into one of the other spiritual gifts. So what I want to do is let's just recap. The spirit, the word of wisdom is connecting to the word of the Most High and making a proper application of everything that he said, right? It was something that I wanted to do. I think I kind of mentioned it already, didn't I? I was talking about the witty inventions. Let me give you that verse reference, though. I think it's in Proverbs, I think. We did read it. Okay. So it's Proverbs 8:12. That's the reference there. I wisdom dwell with prudence and find out knowledge with witty inventions. So that's the thing. The Most High wants you to get that the spirit of wisdom will give you the power, the ability to be able to invent. Some of you have ideas in your head. You've been praying over it. You've been sleeping and waking up and the thought been there. Now is the time to act on it, because your wealth and your success is right at your door. But what you got to do is you got to push forward. Find the time, right? You working a 9 to 5, you get off and you're exhausted. We know we understand that. We all are like that. But you got to find some time for that invention that the Most High put on you, because why? It might take you off of that job you want. So you got to reach out and press, right? You gotta reach out and press, push some energy to get it. I mean, you gotta burn the midnight oil. You know, you work 9 to 5. When you get up, you might have to set you up a space in your house where you start working on that idea, where you dedicate an hour each day, or 45 minutes, or whatever time that you can muster in between your children or your grands or whatever you got on your plate. Find that time to work on that invention and cultivate it, because the Most High is saying there's some finances coming your way, but you're holding it back because you're being taxed by your job. You're looking for another job. And Most High is saying, no, you don't need another job. You just need to operate in the spirit of wisdom, word of wisdom, to see that thing that you desire come to pass. You know, and I know sometimes it's discouraging, because you may feel like that, you know, you got so many ideas. I know the feeling. I got a lot of ideas. I think I'm working at one time. Okay, somebody said, well, we should just focus on that one thing. Maybe you should, but maybe you should continue, because all of them might come forward at the same time. Right? But you have to use wisdom and seek the Most High for you to get the witty invention, the right one. And it may be the one before the one that kind of gets the ball rolling. So the Most High wants us to operate in the word of wisdom for the benefit of not just you, your personal life, but you may be instrumental in helping other people that are not in the truth of Yah to look at you and say, you know what? I got great respect for you. I'm looking at what you're doing. Maybe there's some truth into what you say. It's some truth into what you're involved in, because I'm seeing the results in your life, right? We're living epistle. And so people are looking at us, brothers and sisters. Okay? Sister Lynn said, 1 Corinthians 2:7, we speak the wisdom of Yah in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom which Yah ordained before a world was to. Right. Absolutely. Okay, so let me see. Brothers and sisters, that's all I have for today. I pray that you got something out of that. Next Shabbat, we're going to continue along with the word of, what is it? Word of knowledge, is it? Word of knowledge. And next week we might cover a couple in one, because I'm not too sure if the word of knowledge is going to be quite as extensive as this lesson we did today. But the word, let's see, we got the word of so we got 9. We got the word of wisdom, word of knowledge, and then belief. Okay. Did you know faith was a deity? Greek deity. That's why I don't say faith. I say belief. And until I or we say, what is it in the Hebrew? What is the word in the Hebrew? See, we're trying to practice getting rid of these pagan deities because the Most High is putting his name